Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Rajib Biswas, and this is my thesis that I have done as my completion of Masters in American University of Civil Relations, and I'm going to present it. The whole thesis is going to be long, so I'll read out the most important topics and findings that I have got, and hopefully we will have some discussions after that. So the topic of my thesis was, the title is Ethical Issues Related to Sexual and Reproductive Knowledge-Seeking Behavior of Adolescents in Bangladesh. So here is my bill. This is the review commentary report page. This is the bill of contents that I received for that. This is the abstract. And in chapter 1, in the introduction, adolescence and sexuality. Adolescence is defined as the period between 10 to 19 years of age and is characterized by rapid social, physical, and emotional changes. For too many young people around the world, the onset of adolescence brings not only changes to their bodies, but new vulnerabilities to human rights, abuse, particularly in the areas of sexuality, marriage, and childbearing. Here is a picture. In this picture you can see that maybe the dreams of a boy, he's trying to fly and his adolescence, and maybe he doesn't know the complications and problems that like paint the road, but he's trying. So according to the Information Institute, most adolescents become sexually active by their late teens. 40% of women in Latin America, 60% of women in Sub-Saharan Africa, and 52% of women in the United States of America have sex by the age of 18. Pregnancy and childbearing are among the main contributors to disease and disabilities among adolescents. Early childbearing is linked with higher maternal mortality and morbidity rates and increased risk of incidence, mostly illegal and unsafe abortion. There are some adolescents and sexual reproductive health, and those able to find accurate information about the sexual health and rights may be unable to access the services needed to act on the knowledge and protect their health. So in the Bangladesh scenario, it is reported that 9.5 million adolescents there are in Bangladesh, including 14.4 million girls and 15.1 million boys. That's a large number, around 1% of the country's total population. So despite this large size of this subpopulation and their unique sexual and reproductive health needs, the scope of this ASRH program in Bangladesh has remained limited, and adolescents in Bangladesh face numbers of issues, including high rates of early marriage, high fertility rates, limited negotiation skills, and insufficient awareness of the information about reproductive health. So, as UNICEF states, over 67% of adolescent girls are married. This includes 5% of girls aged 10 to 14 years and 48% of girls 15 to 19 years of age. That's very low, and about 50% of the pregnancies occur by the age of 18. And early marriage, as they have stated, is a critical issue for adolescent girls. And they also have said that sexually transmitted infections such as HIV and other infections, they have very limited knowledge about them while they are in the adolescent period. So, comprehensive sexuality education that donors and policymakers are increasingly advocating for comprehensive sexuality education to improve adolescents' health and well-being. So there are several programs and here sex education at home. We will be discussing this in detail in chapter 2. But most often parents are their children's first sex education teachers. The first time a parent links part of the body, including the genitals, to a toddler or pre-toddler sex education begins. So it can also begin when young children ask what are the profound and sometimes difficult questions like, where did I come from? And why is my body different from your body? So these are some of the questions that young children and adolescents face, and usually if they ask these questions to their parents, they don't get any straightforward answers. Rather, they are told that these topics should not be addressed in only environment, this topic should not be addressed in public, and you don't even mention these kind of topics anywhere. So this is the current setup of our country. So my public statement was, as adolescents have limited knowledge about sexuality and reproduction and know very little about the natural processes of puberty, disease, health, sexual health, pregnancy and reproduction, where are they getting these knowledges from? Because they are not getting this knowledge from their family, they are not getting this knowledge from their teachers, from schools. So where are they getting this knowledge from? So is this knowledge authentic? Is this knowledge valid? Do they really need and formal education about this topic, and would it be better for them? And if there are any formal education system or educating policies there, are they working or not? Are they having any effect on their sexual and reproductive health? So this was my purpose of the study, to find out the goal of the study was to understand the ethical issues relating to sexual and reproductive knowledge, seeking behavior of the adolescents in Bangladesh. And the significance was in the light of the recent increase of child abuse, sexual abuse, increased menstrual hygiene, early marriage, abortion. It is important that we look into the reproductive knowledge-seeking behavior of the adolescents. So, by understanding this pattern of their knowledge-seeking behavior, we will be able to interfere its different level, so that adolescents can grow to be an healthy adult with clear factual truth and ethical knowledge of reproductive health. So, my research objective were to find out the source of their reproductive knowledge of adolescents, to explore the reasons for seeking reproductive knowledge from those sources by adolescents, to find out barriers of seeking reproductive knowledge from other sources by adolescents, and to explore the way to educate adolescents of reproductive knowledge from relevant sources. So there are some scope and limitations, because culturally in our country, sex education is, and talking about sex is considered as a taboo. So it is very difficult to address this kind of topic publicly or even in person. So people are very shy or reluctant, or even don't want to talk about this topic with their parents and not even with an interviewer. So in this chapter, I have reflected the traditional Bengali families and their values, and that in Bengali culture, it is a combination of religious belief system while historically two great traditions have been and continue to be Hindu and Islamic, Bangladesh has also been highly touristic home to the Jainos, Parsis, Jews, Christian, Sikhs, and other people with different religious beliefs. So here the belief system is very diverse. So in our traditional child raising practice, the child raising practice is very holistic, because traditionally the child is raising in the extended family system, that is with the parents, the grandparents, and maybe with other members of the family. And this extended family in raising children has so many virtues, like children from this family develop certain kinds of skill, like sharing, relationship, community work, their development of social life that is from this kind of extended family system, and everything is there to develop the children as a social being, as a perfect human being, as an adult. But it lacks the guidance to be a knowledge, a sexually healthy, acknowledged adult. So that's one of the issues in our traditional family, traditional child raising system, that it lacks how a children should be raised with also the sexual and reproductive knowledge. Usually, regarding hygiene, there are many practices in our country, like in Hindu religion, it is says that it is unclean and uncontaminated, so clean place and started good work without blood. And also in Islamic religion, there is different care service functions, like wuzus before prayer and other things. But traditionally, the family provides little or sometimes no support for the knowledge of personal hygiene during puberty and adolescent period. Usually, this topic is considered as a taboo to talk within the setup of this family, and any problem that children face is never discussed openly among other family members. Adolescents usually share their problems with their mother, or sometimes they don't even discuss this topic at all and totally try to ignore their problem, questions and curiosity because of shyness. So we have also concern of destruction of extended family system because of rapid globalization and urbanization, and there is also a threat in developing these values, and sexual value development in family school. There is also a fundamental question that whether it should be started from family setup or it should be started from the school. So in chapter 3, I have discussed some of the definition and terms that I have used in this paper, and sex education and values, and in some respects, sex education is just like another chapter of the curriculum. It involves the transmission of information. It contributes to the development of personal autonomy, and it seeks to promote the interest of both the individual and the broader society. In other aspects, however, sex education is quite different. It is about human relationship and therefore needs a certain moral dimensions. It is there. It shows that sex education should not be valueless. In context of Bangladesh, sex education, we have a curriculum in our primary education system, secondary education system from class 6. Sex education in an optional subject as a chapter, but teachers are usually reluctant to teach this or discuss this topic in the classes, or students are not even interested to discuss this topic with the teachers at all. So there are certain initiatives by the government of Bangladesh and the different NGOs to promote sex education and reproductive education across Bangladesh. Here in this picture you can see there are some different NGOs that are trying to improve adolescents' knowledge on sexuality. The red zones shows high concentration and the blue zones shows no program at all. So here clearly you can see that we're lagging in programs, and also it is an important part that most of the programs they don't last exist because adolescents are very reluctant to go there because of here informal interviews are conducted with some adolescents during clinical consultation with me. The names and place of these interviews are not included in order to protect the privacy of the dead, and there are some interviews lines that I like to address here, like, in no circumstances I am going to discuss this topic with my parents. This topic is the topic of sexuality and reproductive health issues. Another boy said, like, my parent will kill me if I go to discuss sexuality with them. They will think that their child has gone to dogs. So there are some different perspectives. Like, I learned about sex from my cousin, and there are some misconceptions lurking around. Like, when the first time I had a wet dream, I felt very shy asking about it to my parents. So I asked my friend, and he said I should masturbate to stop it. And that's the first time I heard about masturbation. And here on girl saying that I had my first menstruation suddenly during school time and everybody laughed. And in a sitting discussing about sexuality with a 16-year-old boy, he said, I asked, wouldn't your parents know it better than your friends? The boy said, maybe I guess. Interviewer, then I said, but why don't you ask questions to your parents about sexuality? And he replied, are you mad? I don't want to discuss any of these issues with my parents. That's so embarrassing. So they usually prefer to ask questions with their peers or their cousins and anyone except their parents and school teachers. So that came out of their discussion. And but the views of the young professional or young medical professionals are a bit different, because some of them say, like, puberty, menstruation, sexuality, all are normal things. They shouldn't be kept in shadows and are from the reach of children and adolescents. Children are curious. If they think that you can keep it secret from them, then always you are wrong, because they will know it only one another. So another medical personnel say menstruation is a normal physiological phenomenon. it's not a disease that many may think. It should be normal to talk about periods and menstruation with anyone, and surely people don't need to hide these sanitary pads when they get it from their shop. So the teachers had different views on this topic because they are more afraid to teach this topic in the school setup. Some of the teachers that I have interviewed say this chapter doesn't match with the socio-cultural views of our country. It is mostly a Western way of teaching. We cannot apply this philosophy here as the cultural context is totally different. And many of the teachers are really afraid to teach this topic in the school setup because all of them say, sometimes I fear the audience might complain why this topic is there in the textbook. So in another case study, I got a 15-year-old boy came to my hospital with his father, and his symptoms really were consistent with the symptoms of gonorrhea. But considering his age, it was very unlikely that he might have gonorrhea at the age of 15. So when he has been asked that if he had any sexual exposure, he denied at the very first time. But after doing the laboratory test of the pus, it confirmed that the culprit was gonorrhea for sure. But so here we can see that denial is one of the major components here. So on the basis of the interviews and other investigations, there we got that the school and family can have certain roles. Like school represents the official views of the society and reflects the kind of society we want it to be. So it's the best place to build a society that we want. And also we have considered the fact why don't teachers feel comfortable to teach sex education in the school, because although it is an important part, but it is not incorporated with the value system of our country. So although it is essential, they don't want to teach it in the school, and our curriculum is also not supported that. And so there is, this is my conclusion, and that although different organizations, government and non-government are trying to educate adolescents about sexuality and reproductive health, it is not working because it is not viewed as a system education that needs to be incorporated with the value system of our country. So I have some recommendations like age-appropriate sex education should be started as early as possible, and it should be appropriate regarding the age of the child, and parents, and in different level like parents, the society, the teachers, community have different roles to play to educate children and adolescents of sexuality and reproductive health. And all the programs that are implemented to educate kids about sexuality needs to be evaluated whenever they are formed, keeping in mind the context of the values of our country. So I want to acknowledge my thesis to my family members for their love, patience, and from care and support. But my family members, here I mean by that not my family that I'm related to by blood, but the family that I have, my teachers are also my family. My friends are also my family. I don't address anyone as friend. They are part of my family. My teachers are my part of family, and this community, everyone is my family, and I want to dedicate this thesis to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajib. Thank you for a good presentation and thorough thesis. I'd like to invite questions or comments. Yes, please. Please identify yourself when you ask a question. Thank you.
Thanks, Rajib, for a nice study. Still, in Bangladesh, sex education is a controversial thing. Thanks for choosing this type of controversial thing. My question is, will you do in future with this aspect on sex education, and what is future planning on this study, and will you continue this? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your nice question. And yes, it is high time that we have to look into this topic and about sexuality in the context of our culture, because recently and for the past few years, there have been an increasing number of sexually related incidents in our country, and that shouldn't be happening if the adolescents and the children were properly educated about their sexuality and their reproductive health. So, of course, this thing should be taken further, and I also would like to be a part of that, to incorporate ethics with this education, so that we can incorporate this education and the vast majority, that 1/5 of the population of our countries, to be educated with sex education and reproductive education. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, I'm going to ask Tahira and then Rishad. Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much. Since you didn't go through the whole thing and you did have a hard copy, it's difficult for me to follow in some certain parts, but I could understand the full gist of it, because it has reinforced what has been already the concern, that sex education per se is not working in Bangladesh. And the NCTB, the National Curriculum and Textbook Board, is the most conservative part of the Ministry of Education. And the Ministry of Education is also very, very conservative. I worked there, and I also tried to introduce the concept of AIDS and HIV about 15 years back, and the only thing they allowed me to do is the paragraph on HIV/AIDS transmitted only through natal exchange program, not through sex. The word sex was not supposed to be used. Now, what you have brought up are your findings. I would like you to go beyond that, a little bit beyond that, so that it doesn't become a theoretical thing, because these are all known to us. How to introduce, we can say about sex education, we can talk about reproductive health education, we can have a separate, small, supplementary syllabus for them. It doesn't have to be for the teachers, you can include the NGOs. So, your PhD thesis looks into the status quo. It's a master's or PhD. Master. Good, then you have enough time for that. It looks to the status quo. Good. If you go then from here, like sex is a word which is taboo, and nobody will talk. So it shows very clearly that there is a negativism attached to sex, the word sex. And I faced it throughout my life to plan population. So we did population education and so on and so forth. So what if you can go a little bit beyond this and think about how to address the issues, so that in your PhD you can address these issues, because we want to address them. We are getting the problems, but cultural bias and the shyness of the teachers are stopping it. And the teachers, if you ask them to change, It's very difficult to change. You cannot change one page of NCTP textbook. The parents will go on the streets. So think about it, because it is important what you found. It has reinforced whatever we had found all these 30 years of my life. So people don't change so easily. We talked about intergenerational love, that is grandparents and grandchild love, but the parents don't come in, they are the barriers. How to involve other people who are opinion leaders, who are significant others. Think of that. They give you other options, because the things that were put on top of the sex education, I never agreed. Because that's not how you put this thing. It will not be accepted. Kids will go on doing what they want to do. They will listen to peers. That's why I've talked about the life skills education. Life skills education is also a way of getting into sex education, but not fully. It's just only part of it. So in your recommendations, if you can give another paragraph on how you think we may go ahead, using your knowledge quantified. Otherwise, it's a very good thing. Fully reinforces all our conclusions. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your recommendation. And when I was having interviews with different group of people from different age groups, even in my family, when I had a cousin who is in class 8, and when I wanted to ask, what do you think about sex? It was in my mind. But when I asked her, I said, what do you think about puberty? Because the word sex is such a taboo in our culture that even in the context of our family, we can even utter it. So it was one of the main difficulties that I faced. And as a medical doctor, after first year or second year of learning, we get to know all of these physical phenomenon, psychological phenomenon, everything. But there is nothing to be afraid of, there is nothing to hide. And why is this thing is considered as a taboo while this is a normal physiological phenomenon? But I am a medical doctor, but at the same time, please ma'am, if you sit, please, you have to cover. So, while my other friends that were in my school that came to medical college, they have totally different views about sexuality, and how two doctors can discuss about sexuality is totally different from them, because we are very much comfortable, and we have told many times those dirty words that are considered to be taboo in our exams with our teachers everywhere. But it should be like that, because
Okay.
and that I think I also looked at different programs that are available in our country, but what I thought, maybe they are not incorporated with the ethical values that we face here. So although maybe it is very effective in Western culture, they are being very fruitful because their cultural setup is that. But it's not fruitful here, because from generations and from centuries, we are very much considering this topic as out of sight, and this shouldn't be. I also want to address this incident that you may remember, that a girl died because she used unhygienic sanitary pad, and there were some eggs of a snake, and those eggs had in her uterus, and the girl died. And in the postmortem study, it was found that there were little snakes there. So it shouldn't be like that. and it's about our natural phenomenon, and it's our body, and this knowledge is not dark knowledge. And if you tell adolescents and adolescents that you have no right to know this knowledge, that's not going to happen. They will know it from maybe from some person that you don't want to hear or you will teach to him. So yeah, in my PhD thesis, maybe I will consider going in depth into this topic and how we can adapt certain policies or certain steps to incorporate this knowledge among the adolescents.
Thank you, Rajib. Rashid, please.
Thanks, Rajib. This is Dr. Rashid. I would say definitely it's a very interesting topic and it's a very good topic and a topic I guess that needs more pushing. Ma'am and the others, they have been working for so long on this, and I guess it's only fair that you continue your work during your PhD and focus more into this and get the results out, because you guys are the new generation, right? Regarding one thing I would like to say definitely, like in Bengali curriculum, there is only a single 4th subject with a few paragraphs inside about sex education. Well, we always say Westerners, Western countries, their education might have sex education. Well, no, that's not the case. I hail from English medium school. There we also have biology topics. We have like pictures of penis and vaginas and everything, sex processes, everything is there. But intentionally those are skipped while teaching us. So it's not only the problem in Bengali medium schools, it's a problem in all medium schools in Bangladesh. So I guess that's one thing we should push into. This is one of the comments. And my question is regarding, as this is I guess a qualitative research, I'm really interested in this. I would like to know how did you do the sampling? And actually the second question would be what was your, the question is what was your sampling technique and how did you actually choose your respondents? Thank you.
Thank you very much. As you have said, it is not only a problem in your Bengali medium school, it is also a problem in the English medium as well. And regarding the sampling, it was from opportunistic samples, and during my clinical period, I have came across these patients, and those are my samples, and I also have talked with different medical professionals and teachers regarding their views. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions or comments? Okay, well, I think we should congratulate you. Thank you very much, Rajib.